I told a woman to charge a guy more at a yard sale, so I was driving around last Saturday hitting up yard sales in my neighborhood because I had nothing better to do, and I'm broke. I pulled up to this house where an older lady was selling a bunch of stuff on her driveway. She looked like she was probably in her 70s, just sitting there in a lawn chair with a coffee mug. I started going through some old DVDs and kitchen stuff when this dude pulls up in a brand new Lexus, like the kind with the fancy rims and everything. He gets out wearing golf shoes and one of those polo shirts that cost like $80. You know the type. He walks straight up to the lady and asks if she has any golf equipment. I'm kinda listening because I just started playing golf with my roommate a few months ago, and I'm using these garbage clubs from Goodwill. The lady looks confused for a second and then says, yeah, she's got her husband's old clubs in the garage, but she doesn't know anything about them. She goes and drags out this golf bag, and I'm not even kidding. This thing looked barely used. The guy starts pulling clubs out and taking practice swings, and you can tell he knows exactly what he's looking at. The lady is just standing there saying her husband died like 2 months ago, and she's trying to clear out his stuff because it's too hard to keep looking at it. The guy nods along all sympathetic and then says the clubs are pretty worn out and not worth much. He offers her $200 for everything. The lady looks unsure and says she thought maybe they'd be worth more since her husband spent a lot of time golfing. The guy just talks over her and goes, I'll tell you what, $200 is more than fair. Let me grab my wallet from the car. He walks off and I put down the DVDs I was looking at and went over to check out the clubs. I pulled out the driver and saw it was a GT3. I literally just watched a video about these last week because I've been researching what clubs to save up for. This thing was like $800 new and it looked perfect. Then I saw the irons were Mizuno's, the wedges were Titleist, and there was this Scotty Cameron putter that I know for a fact costs like $400 alone. I did the math in my head and all this stuff together was easily $1,500 worth of gear, maybe more. The bag itself was probably $100. This lady's husband clearly loved golf and spent serious money on his setup. I felt sick watching this guy try to rip her off, so I told her she should wait and maybe take the clubs to a golf shop to get them priced properly because they were worth way more than $200. Her eyes got huge and she asked me if I was sure. I told her just the driver and the putter alone were probably worth over $1,000. The guy came back right then with a stack of 20s and he gave me this death stare. He tried handing the cash to the lady, but she pulled her hand back and said, no thank you. She was going to get them appraised first. This dude's face turned red and he literally said, you can't back out of a deal, we shook on it. Except they definitely didn't shake on anything. I was standing right there the whole time. So I said, no you didn't. You just made an offer and walked away. He turned to me and got in my face and said I needed to mind my own business. The lady stood up and told him again that she wasn't selling and he needed to leave her property. He actually stomped to the end of the driveway and stood there with his arms crossed like a little kid throwing a tantrum. Then he yelled, you're an asshole at me, and got in his Lexus and peeled out. The lady thanked me like 5 times and said she had no idea the clubs were worth that much. She said her son played golf and she was probably just going to give them to him now. I ended up buying a lamp from her for $3 and left feeling pretty good about myself.